listening to the Caramel Apples podcast, the apple snack that brings you a retro vibe, both crunchy and sweet. Ready for this week's repeat offender? With your hosts Kennedy Rizzo and Cooper Lee.
Yes. What an intro. Yes. Repeat offenders. Whatever could we be talking about? Oh, we're about to tell you.
That's right. Yeah, so stick around. This is going to be an interesting one for sure. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. And before we get into that caramelicious topic, be sure to subscribe. You can find us on the socials, and you can find us on YouTube, and be sure to visit our website, RetroTrekwithTheCaramelApples.com, where you can find all the latest information on what's going down in the Retro Orchard. And before that, guess what? Kennedy would love to have an iced coffee, please. So feel free to cruise on over to buymeacoffee.com/RetroTrekCaramelApples and give us a little caffeine boost. She would love to give that a try and see if she's going to be a fan. Thanks a latte.
That's right. So we love to chit chat about all things pop culture and nostalgia, but with this time of year, we have blasted through this year. We cannot believe we're at the point where the chatter is about late fall, early winter, and all the things that come along with that, like parades and shopping, traveling with family and friends, going to see family and friends, and a lot of the times there are road trips involved. Train travel, which is awesome, cruises. But the repeat offender that Coop was talking about is the fact that airline travel is back in the news. Ugh.
Oh my goodness. I think that's just going to be a mainstay from here on out. I mean, it can't seem to course correct at all.
Yeah, I mean, we just come out of a pause, a government shutdown. So that affected a lot of things. It was one of the longest ones going. And you know what? That stuff happens. We try to go about our day and about our lives, and then there's these hiccups.
Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm.
For ones that are supposed to be figuring things out. But that's just the world we live in. But now I guess things have opened back up. Still not full throttle. But again, we're at the end of fall, early winter, and a lot of things are popping and happening around this time of year. People are ready to get on planes to see family and friends and spend time. And a lot of times they choose airline travel. And people are tongue in cheek about the whole thing because, for one, with the recent shutdown, people weren't getting paid that were actually employed by the transportation avenues, the different venues. So they weren't getting paid, they wouldn't come, or they would call off, or they would leave.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We're talking like things that need to be regulated and have safety and blah, blah, blah. So, not a warm, fuzzy feeling going right now with travel, even though they've opened things back up. People are like, I still got to get from point A to point B, so I just chance it. So there's a lot of thoughts surrounding this, and people they're just like tossing in the towel. They're like, I got to do what I got to do. I've got plans.
Yeah.
The confidence level is low, even though they're pushing forward. So people are cranky and they're
Right. And
Man.
it's not, you think back, even just a handful of years ago, plane travel was definitely the way to go. You'd get there a lot quicker. You could enjoy your vacation or whatever, your job, whatever you needed to get done, the reason for going to the destination. It just made sense to fly. It just seems like now that is the longest, most out of the way to get there. Because, yeah, there'd be little hiccups here and there before, like for weather, you might get diverted or have a layover or something like that. But usually it was weather related. You come forward now, it's any given because somebody was behaving badly, or like you mentioned, what just happened. There was a slowdown that nobody had control over that was traveling. Of course, definitely bad behavior is something so serious these days. Sickness. There's a lot of reasons now that you hear of planes not getting where they're going. So it's really not the most convenient way to travel anymore.
No, 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 no! No, please, no!
Like, how did that happen?
Right.
You always, we opted, like you and I were definitely travelers to boot.
Mm-hmm.
And, and our schedules were always a little tight because we'd be working our trips around some extended time away from our job. Then you still had to get back when operations were up. You would need to be there, right?
That's
So
right. Yeah, punching time clocks.
exactly. So if you couldn't rely on the fact that you got a ticket and you're not flying standby, everybody seems to be flying standby now. Not by choice. It's just you're automatically, you buy a ticket, you may or may not be getting on that plane. You may or may not be getting to that destination that day.
Totally sloppy. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about the poor standby passengers?
Yeah, they get where they get bumped to.
Right.
But that's the thing. It says the Department of Transportation, you're launching this new Civility campaign to help curb an alarming spike in unruly passenger behavior. If they weren't smacking the cattle around, sorry for the pun, then people wouldn't be getting cranky. They wouldn't be getting unruly, but that's what's been happening slowly, little by little.
Because you got all these little pressure cookers that they're trying to decompress or get where they're going. They need to get there. So we're not excusing the bad behavior, but people are fed up. They're fed up about stuff in general, let alone, just trying to get from point A to point B. Just a little
Yeah.
frustrated by that.
So here's some of the things they want to try to do. This is what they're telling people. These are grown adults mostly, what to
Mm,
do when it comes to, projecting for their air travel. They said they want them to dress with respect,
okay.
perhaps help elderly people lift their bags or assist them in some way that, is needed. Also, keep your kids under control. Say please and thank you. Really?
What?
Especially to the flight attendants. Do we feel like we're in middle school again?
We do. And unfortunately, everything you just mentioned should just come naturally.
Yes.
And that would be beautiful. But my question is, how are you going to make that happen? Are these people going to be removed if they don't? How do you enforce those things, those niceties that just should kind of be what we do on a societal level worldwide? How do you enforce that on a plane?
Yeah, how far have we fallen?
Mm, I don't
This is embarrassing. I
know.
mean, not the fact that they think this might work, but the fact that they are, in this day and age, telling adult travelers to behave themselves.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're pushing for this. They're urging travelers, to be civil toward one another. Like that should be a given. As you said, that's not the case much anymore.
Yeah, it's like, are they gonna have, like you mentioned, they want people to say please and thank you, which again, that should just be common, should be just like the back of your hand. It just happens. Like you don't even have to think about it, it should just happen. But for those people who do not do it, they're served beverages and things mid-flight. So if somebody doesn't do it, or if enough people don't do it, are they going to go back and keep a tally? Seat 29C did not say thank you, and they give them a little mark, like, and they're going to get a report card on the way out and show that someplace, and they get a fine. Like, what?
What's the matter with you?
What's going to make them go ahead and do it? What's the repercussions when you don't? And how much is that going to change other people who are doing those things? Is it going to slow down their travel because you divert, because you're going to kick that person off the plane? Like, I don't see the sustainability of this.
No, it's a hot mess. And here's
Yeah.
a couple of quotes. Yeah, it talked about the Department of Transportation. They're launching this new civility campaign in hopes that will restore courtesy and class to air travel and help curb troubling rise in unruly and at times violent
So bad.
behavior by air travelers. I think it'd probably be anywhere, but I think Americans get a bad rap because there's just that whole narcissistic factor. But to continue on the quote, it says, "There's no question we've lost sight of what makes traveling fun: the excitement, the relaxation, the cordial conversations, and being able to get to your destination in no time flat. But
Yeah.
now everybody feels more divided and stressed, so that they feel like this might be a good protocol, in fact, to help bring this back. I wish it was the way it was back when we first started air travel. Like it was the bomb diggity.
It was. It made sense. It was convenient. I will say, I think when you flew, it was definitely a different grade of people, seemed like.
That this was brought up too. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that if you could afford a plane ticket, you probably, I'm trying to be very, very PC about this. It just seemed like a different grade of people. And now it seems like you have Greyhound in the sky sometimes,
Yep.
the way people act. And I'm not saying that on a monetary financial level. I'm saying that in just general behavior. Like, because you can have a lot of money and behave badly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not on a financial or a level of class that way, but just actions. People act very differently that used to ride the bus. It seems like that's definitely what it's going on in the sky. Like people just they do what they want and they're reactive versus being proactive, and it's just not good.
You're in this little tight space up 30,000 feet in the air. You're very restricted on what you can do at that level.
Yeah.
You got people, I've heard stories, people clipping their toenails, their fingernails, and getting debris everywhere. People changing their babies' diapers on the meal trays.
Oh, are you serious?
100%. People are bumping and putting their feet up on the passengers' seats or their arms, like they're just, hey, they're trying to get comfortable. You get that, but you're sharing this space with others.
That's it. And if you require that much space, maybe you need to pay the premium. I mean, English, please. Okay. They're like, you need to take several seats. You can't even speak. um, but I think if you require that much space, maybe you need to pay the premium price, get the bigger area, buy it. I still am doing it.
What's the matter with you?
Am I having a stroke? you know, Fly first class if you need to, or business class if you need to, where you do have a little bit more arm room, you have a little bit more leg room, all those types of things. Some even have like beds, right? If that's what you need, then do it. But like you said, recognize that everybody's shoved in this space. Everybody's sharing this tiny area in coach. So just keep that in mind. It's uncomfortable for everybody. So why should you be the one who's most comfortable?
Yeah. This isn't a very exhaustive and frustrating news clip, but it's there
Okay.
because that's what's happening. And with their festivities and everything starting up, probably starting this week, definitely into next. If you're planning on air travel or anything like that, some people are going to like the big parade up in New York City,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
next
yeah.
week, which that'll help segue into our next conversation on our continuation talk on mascots. But if you gotta fly, be careful, just mind your P's and Q's and try not to let these insignificant, inconsiderate people get under your skin. If they
Yeah.
decide they're bored and they want to start raising a ruckus about something, it could happen over anything big or small, but just be aware, be careful.
Yeah, and be proactive about it.
Yeah.
Be ready that you're not taken aback when something goes awry. You're not sitting there going, "What?" You can literally just take it on the chin and keep it moving so you can get where you're going.
Man.
Oh my gosh. And say please and thank you already before they enforce it. That's it for this week's Apple Snack. But as you know, there's always more where that came from. Visit the Retro Orchard Weekly for a sweeter, nostalgic experience.